Hi, everyone. Welcome to the In-Depth Genealogist Chit Chat Live for the week of May 21st, 2017. I'm your host, Valerie Eichler-Lair, and joining me today are Sherry Hudson-Passy. She's a writer with the Going In-Depth Genealogy magazine. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, how are ya?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's hope those storms in Myrtle Beach stay away.
Yes, please do.
And then we have Christine Woodcock. She lives in Canada, and she just got back from her awesome trip to Scotland. Welcome back home, Chris.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good, good. Do you want to go back to Scotland?
Not yet.
Not-
Hey, catch up on my sleep first.
Well, we're glad to have you back. And then from up in the Northwest, we have Mary Kircher-Roddy. Hi, Mary. Welcome.
Hi, nice to be here, Val. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. Okay, we are going to talk about, since it's the season for conferences, and there are several conferences, and you can classify conferences as local, regional, or national, and they may be referred to as seminars. The larger regional and national ones are referred to as conferences. And Sherry, you just got back from the National Genealogical Society conference that's held once a year.
Mhm.
So can you please tell us, share with everybody your experiences, what you did, how you went about planning, why did you go to
Okay.
this one in particular?
Well, number one, the reason I went is because it was only 3 hours north. And so that was a quick drive, and I could make a side trip and go see my son and three of my grandkids. So that was a no-brainer. But deciding to go, I love conferences. I love the education value. I love the networking value. I love the fun. I love meeting new people. I decided to start out with this one, taking the BCG Education Fund workshop that they always have the day ahead of time. Now, this is something that is skill building, and it's really not for beginners per se. You kind of have to look at your skill level and see if it's something for you. But I took that and I recommend it. If you look at what they're doing that year and you feel like you can handle that, then I really recommend it. It was a good class. It was a very good class. I enjoyed it very much. But as far as getting registered and choosing classes and that kind of thing when you're going to a conference, look at the classes. There are going to be classes for beginners, for intermediates, for advanced. There's going to be DNA. There's going to be classes about the area where you are, but not necessarily about that area. There are classes on anything you can think of when it comes to genealogy. So I know some people were saying, oh, I don't want to go to this one because it's, going to be in an area where I don't have ancestors. Well, does it make a difference? Because yes, they will have classes about that area, but the majority of those classes are going to be on any other topic you can think about. So take a look at the syllabus and look and see the things that you need to build your skills as a genealogist and things that will help you find your ancestors. And take advantage of those people sitting in class with you. Talk to people. You never know when the person next to you is going to be researching something similar to you, or maybe able to have a tip, or say something to you that'll help you in your research. So I know the first conference I ever went to was in Charleston, South Carolina, years ago when I didn't know anybody. And I remember the first day just kind of sitting there watching everybody else talk to everybody. And I thought, wait a minute, I can talk to people too. So I started doing that and talking and met people that I went out to lunch with and out to dinner with. So talk to people. Don't just sit back and watch what's going on. Make an effort to get to know people, and they'll become lifelong friends. What else? The exhibit hall. Make sure you go to the exhibit hall. That's a party all in itself. The exhibit hall. There's vendors there. I bought books. I bought jewelry. I bought some genealogy jewelry. I was able to talk to different people that were running different booths. IDG had a booth there with our little cards that we could hand out, and BCG was there, and APG was there, and FGS was there, and all the groups that you could think of were there. And then there's also some of the different booths are running mini classes, so you could sit. Find My Past was running mini classes where you could sit and learn different topics. They had different speakers that were coming and speaking. So don't forget to go to the exhibit hall while you're at a conference. There are lunches that you can sign up for, banquets, either during lunch or some at night that you can sign up for. I went to one on the Friday that Helen Leary was given. And if anybody knows who Helen Leary is, she is the North Carolina genealogist. If you want to know anything about North Carolina, she wrote the book, North Carolina. And so she was there and she spoke, and that was a wonderful, wonderful event. They had a pig picking. So a lot of times these conferences will have activities in the evening that have something to do with the culture of the state that you're in. So the pig picking was a great big hit for people. So no matter what level you are, if you're a beginner or you're advanced and been doing it for many, many years, there's something for you at one of these conferences, and they're fun, and I really recommend people go.
Do we want to know what pig picking is?
Yes, we do want to know what pig picking is. It's a pig, and they just barbecue a pig. You know, we're talking barbecue. We're talking the South,
Okay,
and so
right.
yeah. You're not really.
I'm not like choosing one to take home and adopt or something.
Yeah.
No.
No, little pig races.
Bring it home with you. Yeah. So
One
you
under
got
each
your
arm.
barbecue. You got your coleslaw. You got your, you got your cornbread.
Delicious.
So there's usually always something at these conferences too that have something to do with the area that you're in. We had a society night where we went to a museum in town, and the societies were represented there, so we could talk. If you're from North Carolina or you have ancestors in the state, then that's an opportunity to go and speak to each of the societies. So if you didn't have any North Carolina ancestry, it was still a fun evening to go through the museum and see things. So that was really fun as well. So it's just a good time. It's just a good time. And another hint that I would like to give people, especially people that feel like they don't know anybody, in the evenings after the conference is over, go sit in the lobby of the hotel. Whether you're staying in a hotel or not, go sit in the lobby for a while of the conference hotel, and you'd be amazed at the people that you see and the people that you can strike up a conversation with. So, you can find friends everywhere. Make sure you do, and go out to lunch and go out to dinner with them, and take advantage of all the other activities and not just the conference itself if you can.
Well, I'd like to also recommend, that's a really, really good point, Sherry, and thanks for sharing that. Another thing is reach out to someone. Mm-hmm. Reach out to someone that may be sitting in the back of the room or next to you if they haven't struck up a conversation with you. I mean, heck, how could we have gotten friends if we didn't sit there and ooh and ah over who was going to be talking that morning at the opening session of Roots Tech or Donny Osmond?
That's right.
Yeah. So, and what I always try and do is I like to sit up in the front because that keeps my attention. I can see, I can hear better. And so always getting into the room at least 15 minutes before the presentation starts gives you a chance to meet who you're going to sit next to. And, and ask them, is this your first conference? Right. Have you been here before? So but like you said, there's something for everyone.
Exactly. And I have found that the presenters are very kind. And a lot of people kind of feel, oh, I can't go talk to them, but they're very kind and they want you to come and ask them questions and they want to be helpful. Now, when they're in the middle of setting up their stuff, might not be the time to be trying to ask questions because they're, trying to get everything. But for the most part, I have found them very welcoming of conversation, questions, and those types of things. So don't shy away if you have a question that you want to ask. And who knows, you might make a really good friend with somebody who's presenting. And that's always fun too.
Exactly. Another tip that I recommend is the night before the first day, you have already somewhat picked out or chosen your sessions, but look at the syllabus material. If you have like 2 or 3 sessions that you cannot be at the same time, look at the syllabus material. Is one more descriptive and has more information in it that maybe you can learn from just it when you see one that's not quite as detailed and maybe go to that session. There's a lot of factors to take into when there's 2 or 3 sessions that you want to be at the same time. And then, of course, you can always buy the recording.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, great.
Absolutely.
Now, did they have streaming and recording at NGS?
Yes, they did. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's still time to sign up for the streaming that they had. I think you can still watch those replays. But yes, they did have the live streaming going on, but I do believe you can still sign up.
And we'll put the link. Well. Yeah, and we'll put the link down below this YouTube video that takes you to the National Genealogical Society website and a link to or else go to the website and find about the recordings as well. Great. Great recap, Sherry.
Yeah. Loads of fun. I recommend it.
Great. There's another large, it's referred to as a regional conference, but it's gotten to be so big, I think of it as a national conference, and that's the Southern California Jamboree. And we're honored here by 2 of the speakers that are going to be at Jamboree. I've asked Christine if she could talk about this particular conference and about the streaming and choices and so forth. So, Christine?
Hey, the really good recap, Sherry. And you know what? So many memories come back and you think, oh, yeah. I love conferences. I love them for all the reasons you do. One of the really exciting things that just got announced, Val, is that there are going to be 14 sessions that are going to be live streamed from the Southern California Jamboree, and I'm one of them.
Yay!
So, yay! I don't scratch my nose and do all that kind of stuff on public, but
good, because I signed up to watch.
You'll be sitting there saying, "Oh, you said you weren't going to do that."
do it for me, and I'll know what you're doing.
Too funny, but that's really exciting, and I just love when when any of the conferences do streaming, because it allows people who aren't able to travel for whatever reason, and we can't be everywhere all the time, to be able to still take part in and to learn, because learning's just the biggest piece. It really is. And I'm also, when I'm not talking, because I think I'm giving 3 or 4 talks, when I'm not talking, I'm going to be in the expo hall, because like you, Sherry, that's the place to hang out, man.
Yes.
It really is. And you were talking about, getting to talk to the speakers up close and personal. That's a great place to do it. Lots of them are in there. They're wandering around. If they're not at a booth, they're wandering around, and it's so easy just to, chat with them for a few minutes. And I love being in the booth, because that's when I get people to come over and ask questions and tell me their stories. And it's just so energizing. So I'm really, really looking forward to that as well. And this is actually going to be my first time at Jamboree, so I'm very, very excited. But then we are heading north in August, right, Mary?
Yes, I will be up here, and you're coming up in Washington. We have the Northwest Genealogy Conference, and that's 3+ days. There's on Wednesday, it is a beginner session, and that day is free. Peggy Lauritsen is teaching beginner classes all day that day. And then there's the conference is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it's kind of different than, I've been to a few conferences. I haven't been to NGS, but I've been to Southern California and to Ohio and to Roots Tech. And one of the things that they do at the Northwest Conference is they have some primary speakers. So each of the days, Diane Southard, Dan Earl, and Kenyatta Berry are the headliners for each of the different days. And they will give 3 talks first thing in the morning, and then I think it's right before lunch and then right after lunch. And then there'll be 2 other sessions that you get a choice to pick of who you want to go hear. So it's kind of a neat thing.
That's very cool.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to mention
all day.
about Jamboree that I really had fun with last year, and I encourage people to do it from either side. They have expert sessions, and you can sign up to either be someone to help, and you don't have to be an expert, but just if you have, some expertise maybe in some particular area. So last year I signed up for to be a helper at 2 sessions, and then I was looking at the schedule, and there was someone. Tom Jones was actually volunteered to be a helper. And I thought, well, you don't get that opportunity very often to get one-on-one help from Tom Jones. So I signed up for that slot. And it was really fun. Yeah. So I encourage you at Jamboree to look for that.
You signed up. Were you the expert, or you were seeking?
I was an expert for 2 people. So they had a chance to, I think I got notified a week or so before the conference who they were going to be, who had signed up for my time slot. And then we exchanged an email, and they gave me, kind of what they were looking at, a little bit of what their question was about. And so I spent probably a half hour looking at resources that I could then share with them. And it was really fun for me to just, I'm an addict, so I will do anybody's genealogy. And so just, give me a new name.
Are you going to be an expert? Maybe I'll sign up.
I am going to be an expert.
I'm signed up for 2 sessions, I think.
I'll bring you my brick walls.
Friday. Cool.
Also, such a good thing you brought that up, Mary, because the Jamboree, SoCal, Southern California Jamboree, they always have the Ask Expert. They have members of the Southern California Association of Professional, the APG chapter has that. I thought that was at the Northwest Conference.
No, at Jamboree. They don't do it at Northwest.
Okay.
Chris hadn't mentioned it about Jamboree, and I just wanted to.
Okay, no,
I hadn't gone before.
I'm glad we clarified that then, because if I was confused thinking you were referring to that in the Northwest, because I didn't know that.
Jamboree that has the experts.
And it's funny. I like the URL to find the Northwest Conference. It's Stilly, STILLY, gen.org. And then you can click on the Northwest Genealogy Conference link. But again, we'll put the link to that below the YouTube chat, so it'll be a hot link. You can go right to the conference information.
Well, we have a lot of Indian names here in Washington, and that's the Stillaguamish, and so Stilly is short for Stillaguamish.
Yep, having some ancestors and actually current relatives that live up there. I've been corrected numerous times. So the Southern California Jamboree starts on June 9th, and then the Northwest Genealogy Conference starts on August 16th. And just to give you a hint, we're not going to talk about it tonight. We'll talk about it at another Chit Chat Live, but there's the huge International Germanic Genealogy Conference coming up right almost in my backyard at the end of July. So we'll talk about that really soon and give you some insights on that. It's strictly Germany, Luxembourg, and so forth. Last I heard, it's sold out. But I want to get the information in, so in case someone wants to try and register late, they can. Then the next thing, we've talked about NGS, the National Genealogical Society, Southern Cal Jamboree, the Northwest Genealogy Conference. There's conferences all over, all the time. And the best place to go and look for that is the Genia Keepers.
Conference Keepers.
Genealogy Conference Keepers, where you can find what's coming up in your area. Then also check with your local or your state genealogical societies. If you're not involved, why? If you
Val
are
wants to know why.
yeah, if you're not involved, why? If you're not a member of a local genealogical society, why? Um, but get involved, and you don't have to be a member, but it's nice if you are. But get to know and so forth. But they'll also have information about local and statewide or regional seminars or conferences as well.
Val,
What I
my
want,
go-to is that Conference Keepers. I love that website. Maybe we could post the link to that in the comments as well.
I
Easy for
will.
people to get to.
I will mention that to
Terry.
Terry does that. Terry O'Connell, IDG's executive director. So I will put her on that task. The last two items I want to talk about, and I'm going to mention them both separately so that you ladies could pop in your comments, are genealogy cruises, where the conference is on a cruise. They usually last 3 to 5 days. They go to various ports of call where while you're at sea, you have the conference, and then you stop and can sightsee and so forth. The first one I want you all to talk about and just lay it out there is Unlock the Past Cruises. And that's an easy URL to remember. It's unlockthepastcruises.com. And this one is put on by a group of people that have been doing cruises for several years. The next cruise that's coming up is where? Someone take it away.
Coming to Alaska. And I think it's leaving from Seattle and headed up to Alaska.
And it is going to be the reason why we're announcing this now is because they're taking reservations. These types of things you have to book months in advance, almost a year. This is going to be from the 7th to the 14th of September next year, 2018. And they're starting to take the reservations now, right?
No, it's this one is that we're talking about is 2017. Isn't it?
No, well, the one I'm referring to is August, or September of next year.
2018.
They just announced that they're starting to take reservations now.
Got it. Okay.
And they have other cruises too. So what do y'all think? Have either of y'all been on a cruise?
I haven't, but I would love to one day. It's a goal. It's on my bucket list.
I've never done a genealogy cruise. I cruised a little bit before I was interested in genealogy, so I haven't ever explored it from that angle, but it looks like fun.
Well, I want to go to Jamaica.
Yeah, I want somebody to come out of Charleston, so maybe that would be a Bermuda or a Jamaica trip. So let's get that out there in the universe, and then maybe
it'll be someplace warm.
Yeah,
and preferably anytime between the end of October and well, now it's the 23rd of May, and I'm still wearing sweats, so
and before
I can get out of a 7-month cruise. No. Okay, so that's one, and that's just been recently announced. So again, we'll have the link, but go and get information about this particular
Can I
cruise
just give my 2 cents worth, Val?
Yeah.
I haven't been on one, but I know people who have, both from an instructor point of view and from a participant, and they absolutely love it. And it's an ideal way for the 2 sides to come together. Because where's your speaker going to go?
Right. Unless they hide in their room, you've got them.
So
unless they jump overboard because you're stalking them.
Oh Lordy, I'm gonna have to give the heads up to a couple of the speakers. Watch out.
No, but really, it's a good way for you to be able to get to know them better and understand, the depth of their research. Because even though some of them will, they'll give a talk on one topic, that's maybe not their basic area of expertise, or their area of research, and so you get to see and then you know what? You just get comfortable talking to one or two, and then anytime you go to a conference, you're not shy anymore.
Exactly.
Right?
That's right.
But also be mindful that they need to have their downtime. And
Absolutely.
Being a speaker, it's like, please, give me a few minutes to re-energize, sleep. Great. The other cruise that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is our friends Jean Hibben and Gina Ortega. That is coming up the 5th through the 9th of November of this year. And it's Gina and Jean.blogspot.com about their cruise. And they are going to, help me here.
They leave. It's a 4-day long cruise from Long Beach to Catalina and Ensenada. So Southern California, basically.
That's it. Thank you. And I hear that those are fun. They're short. So that might be the type of thing that I want, since I want my feet in the water, not on the water. So maybe doing just a little 3-4 day thing might work. So again, it's a conference on a cruise. You're doing and being around genealogy all day. You do get some sleep time. You have awesome food. If it's anything like a 5-star all-inclusive resort, you're going to have all kinds of great food and conversations. So again, check into those cruises. They are taking the reservations now.
Can I just say one more thing about them? Sometimes that, with the cruise, you will have a long day at sea, and they typically try to schedule their sessions on the sea days. So then you have a chance when you come into port, you're not wasting your port time, listening to genealogy lectures, but you can explore a little.
Well, you get to go off and explore and sightsee.
Yeah. It's a great way for spouses and stuff too, because there's other stuff on the ship that they can do while you're learning all about genealogy. Usually if you take them to that, they don't want to go, first of all, or if they go, then they're trying to spin around trying to find something to do to fill their time while the conference is on. But this way, there's all kinds of activity, and then on the days you're in port, you just go and sightsee, and it's great.
Cool. Great.
Sounds exciting to me.
Well, we've got other conferences. We're going to talk about the FGS, the Federation of Genealogical Societies. I'll talk about the International Germanic Genealogy Conference coming up. So look for that chit chat to come soon. We'll also mention about some other types of events and so forth that are coming up later on this summer. And then maybe even like Sherry did, ask Christine and Mary to come back and talk about their experiences from both a speaker and an attendee being at the conference, to share that with us during a chat too. So even though we haven't heard yet about Genealogy TV shows coming up, we're still waiting to hear about Finding Your Roots and Genealogy Roadshow. We still have a lot of genealogy topics to talk about. So please join us again next week for the In-Depth Genealogist Chit Chat Live. We thank you. We want you to go in depth with all of your ancestors. Please feel free to drop us a comment below. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or send us a simple email at info@theinDepthGenealogist.com. So until next time, farewell.
Bye.
Bye-bye.